The last time we sailed back into Miami, it took 2 hours from the time we closed our cabin door until the time we sat down in our Uber. 2 painful hours. Arriving back at the port after your cruise, it's sad enough. The last thing you want to do is add to the sorrow because you didn't plan ahead for the disembarkation process. Lucky for you, I have 3 tips that can help reduce the pain. Ahoy sailors, my name is Rob and I'm here to tackle Virgin Voyages one topic at a time. Welcome to OVT. So this isn't just a Port of Miami issue. It's pretty much the same in most large ports. Actually, I just read the other day that Port Canaveral had more passengers in 2025 than Miami did. Regardless of where your cruise ends, you'll have multiple ships pulling in with passengers disembarking at the same time as passengers who are arriving for those next sailings. Although this example here isn't exactly the norm, it does demonstrate the crux of the issue. If you take a look here, back in February, Miami had 10 ships in port, and that translated to 68,000 passengers. Half getting off, half getting on. Have you ever been to an NFL game? Imagine everybody walking out around the same time, and imagine half of those people trying to get a taxi. Not impossible, but it sure is going to test your patience, that's for sure. While 10 ships isn't the norm, 7 to 8 are, and that means 50,000 frazzled passengers. So on that cruise that took us 2 hours, even as a seasoned cruiser, I made a couple of big mistakes that I definitely learned from. Let me break them down for you and share my learning. But first, while not new to cruising, I am a pretty new YouTuber, so if you'd be willing to hit that subscribe button down there, I'd be grateful. Thank you in advance. First thing to note, while it might seem as if the initial rush to get off the ship is something that you'd want to avoid, in this study that I found online, only 435 out of 4,800 passengers got off in the first hour. That's less than 10% of the passengers. In the second hour, that rose to over 22%, and by hour 3, it peaks at almost 40%. Sure, there's a drop-off for those who wait until the last minute, but keep in mind that by that time, the arriving passengers are creating the maximum traffic in port, pretty much making that the absolute worst time to leave. If you sail on Virgin Voyages, they do things a little bit differently. You board later, usually not until close to 2 p.m. if you don't have status, but you also get to disembark later at the end of your cruise. While most ships lowered their gangway at 7 a.m. and force everybody out of their cabins by 8:30, Virgin allows you to exit as late as 10:30 or so. And that was the main reason we hit our bottleneck. We stayed on board until that time where the maximum number of departing and arriving passengers were congested in the port, and it was an absolute mess. So my tips 1 and 2 are combined. First, if you're able, do the self-disembarkation or self-assist, as some of the cruise ships call it. Don't leave your bags outside the cabin the night before for the porters to come and bring it down for you. Take them down yourself when you get off the ship, and that'll allow you to get off before the masses, who are going to have to wait another hour or so for the announcement that only comes once the bags are set up and waiting for them. And tied to that, of course, is my second tip, which is to get off the ship as early as possible. Sure, it might suck for some of you, but get up early and be the first to disembark. You'll avoid the heaviest crowds exiting an hour or so later. The customs process will be considerably faster, and you'll pop out of the terminal way before everybody is arriving for their next cruise. Question, do you hustle off the ship, or do you try to extend your cruise as long as you can like I do? Leave a comment below, and while we're paused, please take a second to hit the like button and to also hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Thank you in advance. My next tip, this is a big one, especially if you won't be among the first off the ship, is make an arrangement for pickup before you get on your cruise. And no pre-booking an Uber or a Lyft, it's really not good enough. Those ride-sharing services might take your reservation a week before you need it, but they don't actually activate the driver until just before you need them. Guess where those drivers are when they get pinged at 9 a.m. about your 9:30 pickup? They're with other passengers, and getting into the port when they're done is going to take forever. Are you going to the airport? Take a planned bus, which will be waiting in the lot for you, or consider even reserving a limo. Sure, the limo might be $20 or so more than a taxi or Uber, but they're much more likely to be there waiting when you arrive. Not going to the airport, so a bus isn't an option. Find a local cab company before you cruise and tell them that you want to reserve a taxi so that they're waiting for you when you arrive because you'll be in a rush. And ask if there's an extra charge for that guarantee so that they know that you're serious about it. And ask if there's a better place to get picked up than at the taxi stand where literally hundreds of people are going to be waiting. On that 2-hour disembarkation, I thought I was being smart. While still on board the ship, I ordered our Uber thinking that it would be waiting by the time we got off. I was really nervous because it took us almost an hour to get off and get through customs. But the entire time I kept watching the arrival time on my app get later and later and later. Ride shares are pretty much the least dependable option in these cases, and I really don't recommend them. Like I said, I was trying to extend my cruise by sleeping in a bit and then going for, a leisurely breakfast. But all I really did was add to the misery of its ending. Getting off early may seem like you're losing out, but the only thing you're losing out on is an extra 90 minutes or so of frustration and dealing with all of those angry people around you. Well, those are my tips for a smooth disembarkation, and that's my one virgin topic for today. Do you have any questions? Are there any topics that you'd like to hear about? Leave me a message below. And until next time, ahoy, sailor.